What's up, guys? This is PokeIDoc here. I want to talk about a serious problem that we got going on in the Pokemon investor community. And so, short story is I went to go buy out this mini collection that someone was selling, and I learned from this person that the reason why they were selling it is because they started doing some power pack plays from GameStop. And they said that they, did it for the first time, got some good hits, was up in their money, waited a week, didn't touch it, and then came back and then just kept coming back until they lost $12,000. $12,000. That's a lot of money. They just kept gambling their money away. And I don't think that people really understand how bad that this is getting with gambling in Pokemon, where it comes to all these different creative outlets to express your way of like attachment to this community, right? And so that is one thing. And I think a lot of people can see that as a gambling problem, but I don't think people understand how bad this is compared to other gambling addictions. And so, like, here's a good example. When you go to Vegas, you bet your money, you lose your money, and you instantly know you lost your money. When you do these power pack plays, you gamble your money, you get rewarded with Pokemon, so you get rewarded with nostalgia, and then you even have the option to sell it back at a loss. And so you don't feel as bad. And if you decide to not sell it, you get to keep it and you still don't feel as bad, but you still lost. And then you keep doing it and you keep losing. And it's like an endless cycle. And you feel like there's this comfort in not losing all the way. And that's really dangerous. Because in other aspects, like in crypto, just like in Vegas, like you instantly lose your money and then you instantly know like, oh, that was really bad. But this, you keep getting rewarded with comfort. And I think that's really dangerous. People really need to take the time to think about the risk factors that they're willing to take. And so like for me, I would never do that, right? I don't have a gambling addiction problem when it comes to that, but I am gambling when it comes to Pokemon investing, right? My goal is I collect these items, hold them while they appreciate, and then let them go based on whatever time cycle I'm willing to let them go. Someone want to hold longer, someone want to do short term. But the goal for me is to remind myself that I want to sell them at these specific times and let them go. So that's why I've been practicing selling, because I know if I don't practice now, then in the future, I'm going to have a harder time. Sorry, my son's coughing. But anyway, so I understand my risk tolerance because I also know like if the Pokemon market goes down or stagnant or I can't move these products when I want to, I'm in a comfortable position where it's not going to really affect me that bad. But I don't think other people are taking this as serious. And then I think that because everything keeps going up, they keep feeling it to get rewarded with certain things. And I have a hot take. Rip and ship. As much as Pokemon investors always talk about how that's one of the number one things is why these products are going up, it is actually one of the most dangerous gambling associations that people aren't thinking about, right? So here's an example. If you've never watched a stream, you really should, because you root for the person that is buying the packs that they want to see get ripped, right? You're rooting for them. You want them to get that big hit. Not only that, the streamer also wants them to get a big hit, right? They'll root for that person to do it, right? It encourages you to buy more. And then you do. And then when you do buy, you want to be rewarded by the community, so the people in the comment sections and the streamer, like you want that attention. You want to get that big hit so you can get rewarded with it. And then when you do get it, you get rewarded, right? You get the accolades, people root you on, and then you go about your life, and then it's the end of that. But then you want it again. And then you realize, man, that was so easy. I got to do that from sitting in my house. I just clicked the button and I got rewarded. And then you try it again and eventually you lose. And then here's another caveat to that. When you lose, I've learned or I've noticed a lot of these bigger streamers or mid-sized streamers, they will still reward you. They'll give you promo cards or leftover cards to make you feel like it's okay. Like you get that comfort for losing, so that way you'll come back and do it again. You get rewarded for your bad behavior and gambling, right? Now, I don't think that any of this is necessarily bad. I think people should be able to use their money how they would want to, right? If you want to gamble, you gamble. If you want, it's fun opening packs, right? But I do think people need to have a serious conversation in their risk tolerance and what it is that they're risking when they're doing these things. Because sometimes we get stuck in the comfort, sometimes we get stuck in the nostalgia, and we don't realize like how bad that this is. I do think that this is worse than gambling in Vegas. I do think this is worse than gambling on crypto because you get rewarded with too much comfort and people don't realize it, right? And so, Pokemon market keeps going up. No one has been punished. The only way you're getting punished is if you do things super, super risky and you lose money instantly. But then, like, just like with this guy, that story I told you, like, his thought process was, oh, even though I'm losing, I'm breaking even because now I can sell this stuff off, right? But at the end of the day, like, not only did you lose, you're still losing because you're selling these things off because they're theoretically in this bull market, things are going to appreciate, right? So now you're missing those gains. So you just keep losing even more. But he had this as a comfort to kind of protect his mindset with this whole process. So anyway, that's my spiel on that, and that's my hot take with that. So if you like any of what I had to say, definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and then I'll show you some of the spoils that I got from this interaction. So I got 2 of these. I really did not want to get any more of these, but I got 2 more ETBs from Chaos Rising. These are the Pokemon Center ones. I got them for $170. I thought it was a really good deal. I do think these are going to go up in value. I've noticed that mid-sets and great sets, the Pokemon Centers tend to track what the booster boxes do. And so like the booster box is $230, $240 now. This is like $170. And if history shows, this usually just follows that track. So this is actually a no-brainer. And then I got 2 more of these. Of course, I'm holding these for long term. These are my SBCs. This is like the #1 product that I have. And then I also got a Pokemon Center Prismatic Evolution. Like, I think that's a no-brainer with this, especially for super, super long term. There's not that many of these. You can get a lot of ETBs. You can get a lot of ETB cases, but this will be the rare item that people are going to be looking for when it comes to collectors in the future. So this is something to hold in the long term. Anyway, so those are the spoils I got. I do think people need to take more calculations in the risks that they're willing to take. I know that I am. I'm going ham. I just want to make sure that I'm selling the things that I want to be able to sell, so that way I don't get stuck holding these things for, my risk tolerance. But anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. Pokey.L. I gotta learn how to say that better. Anyway, go touch grass.